Hey everyone, welcome to the Turkish series Stars channel. Settle in, because today's story is the kind that makes the entire industry hold its breath. Before we dive in, tap that subscribe button and share this video with a friend who lives for drama and romance. Now, let's get into it, because the entertainment world is buzzing yet again, and this time the tremor comes from a confession that nobody saw coming. Across timelines and trending pages, the name on everyone's lips is Ebru Şahin. The actress, known for keeping her personal life guarded behind poised smiles and focused interviews, let the curtain slip during a recent television appearance. What she revealed wasn't a scene from a script or a carefully crafted PR moment. It was something raw, intimate, and tied to Akınözü in a way that made the entire studio lean forward at once. She looked straight into the lights, voice soft but steady, and admitted that the day Akın asked her to be his wife, the ground shifted beneath her. Not a play-by-play, no footage, no grand retelling, just the honest weight of what she felt in that instant. She refused to describe where it happened or who planned what first. She didn't talk about candles or rooftops or surprise music. Instead, Ebru lingered on the sensation of her chest tightening, the warmth in her hands, how time seemed to slow. Her words painted a feeling rather than a scene, and maybe that's why it landed the way it did. Because a feeling is harder to refute. A feeling invites everyone to fill in the blanks with their own imaginations. The moment she finished, live comments spiked, threads multiplied, and media desks started sending frantic messages for confirmation. The name Akınözü lit up like a flare, and speculation began its relentless climb. What does this mean for them now? That was the chorus. Were they about to step into the next chapter together, or did this confession belong to a story that already changed direction? Fans scoured old interviews and past appearances, slicing out every glance, every smile that had felt unexplained before. Was it a reconciliation hint? Was it a full-circle reveal? Or was it simply Ebru honoring a moment that had shaped her heart, even if the present is complicated? As one post reached thousands of shares, others swooped in with insider whispers, claiming that conversations had been happening quietly behind closed doors for weeks. Some said the proposal was recent and secret, others insisted it was older than people realized and buried under new obligations and schedules. The tabloids could barely keep up. Headlines tried to bottle the feeling of what she said, not bragging, not sensational, but undeniably powerful. It immediately ignited the long-standing fascination with how these two balance fame and closeness. Anyone who has followed Akınözü and Ebru Şahin knows they have always carried a magnetism that blurs the line between screen chemistry and real connection. You see it when they're near each other, the small gestures, the restrained laughs. Even without details, the simple acknowledgement of a proposal threw gasoline on a fire that never truly went out. Ebru kept the emphasis where she wanted it. She didn't mention dates. She didn't mention rings or guest lists. She spoke about surprise, about being caught off guard and profoundly moved, and how life sometimes drops a moment so personal that words feel too clumsy for it. That restraint made her confession feel even more intimate. It also made the conversation around her thrum with possibility. Because if she was willing to share the depth of her reaction, what else might eventually surface? People toggled between hope and caution, calling friends, texting family chat groups. Did you hear what Ebru just said? Did you hear what she said about Akın? From there, timelines surged. There were clips and translations, captions and analyses, side-by-side photos and looping edits set to slow music. Digital detectives went as far as tracking outfits from different appearances, trying to line up when that glow in her face began. And then came the whispers, those sources close to the couple we all know too well. They say the atmosphere around them has softened lately, that the frost some imagined had thawed, that schedules no longer grip them as tightly as they once did. Whether that's true or just a prettier version of a rumor, it poured more fuel on the discussion. Are Akın and Ebru on the edge of a new beginning? As the chatter exploded, a quieter thread emerged, the tension between spotlight and sanctuary. For years, both have navigated a high-wire act, hit projects, intense promotion cycles, relentless press, and then tried to return home to lives that might allow them to breathe. Her admission put that balance front and center. You could feel the empathy from fans who wanted their happiness more than their gossip, even as the conversation turned them into headlines again. It was a collective tug-of-war between curiosity and care, the kind of tug that defines modern celebrity love stories: a million eyes watching, 1,000 interpretations, and two hearts trying to make sense of what's right. More than one magazine desk claimed they had heard that something had shifted just before the interview aired. A few insisted that the production staff noticed a different lightness on set, a calm intensity in Ebru that hinted at relief. Others swore the opposite, that the emotion she showed came from the courage to say out loud what had lived privately for too long. Either way, the effect was the same. Phones rang off the hook, editors begged for confirmation, and the digital tide carried the clip across platforms in hours. What truly stood out was how Ebru's words centered on sincerity rather than spectacle. She described being surprised and deeply moved without dressing it up in theatrics or trying to provoke a viral frenzy. And yet, paradoxically, that restraint did make it go viral. People believed it. People felt it. They didn't need a choreographed reveal. They needed the assurance that a moment like that had occurred between two people they've rooted for, questioned, debated, and, yes, secretly imagined together in quiet corners of their own hearts. Look at Akınözü in this picture the fandom loves to share, the focused gaze, the thoughtful presence. People asked whether he had been preparing for this step in his own quiet way, with his disciplined approach to work hiding a personal decision that would change everything. Friends of friends claimed that he'd been certain for a while, that he simply waited for the right time and the right words, something sincere rather than staged. If those whispers hold any truth, they add a tenderness to the narrative, the patient resolve of a man who knows what he wants and the sudden emotion of a woman who didn't expect to hear the question at that moment, in that way. It's impossible to ignore the wave of reaction from their inner circles. Colleagues were careful but warm, hinting at admiration without spilling details. A few hinted that they had seen the glow in Ebru's eyes backstage recently, that unguarded fullness that can't be faked. On the other side, voices close to Akın praised his steadfastness, the way he listens more than he speaks, and how that trait might have shaped the tenderness of the moment Ebru described. Of course, none of this is official. The beauty and the chaos of this story come from the spaces between words, the gentle blank spots that inspire us to wonder. As the hours wore on, social media didn't just trend, it pulsed. People asked if this means a reunion in the most public sense, if wedding bells are waiting just around the corner, or if the confession honors something precious that belongs to them alone. The fandom debated timelines, continuity, and how careers factor into the most personal choices. Every post seemed to end with the same question: what happens next for Akın and Ebru? Meanwhile, the tension between ambition and intimacy was examined in think pieces and long captions. Ebru's projects, Akın's commitments, are they paths that run parallel, or are they a river and a road that sometimes meet and sometimes don't? That question isn't new, but it feels sharper when someone looks directly into a camera and admits that love, even inside the glare of public attention, can still surprise you. It's the vulnerability that captivated viewers. And it's the uncertainty that keeps them watching. By the next day, talk shows had spliced the clip and replayed her words, each host embellishing with their own analysis. Some argued that this was the first step toward a major announcement. Others insisted it was a goodbye letter disguised as gratitude. Still others saw it as a simple truth between two people who have shared more than the public realizes. No one could agree, which is exactly why the clip kept breathing life into the rumor mill. It didn't help that a few background tidbits drifted into the press, mentions of late-night messages, a private dinner nobody expected, a phone call that lasted longer than anyone thought it would. None of these are confirmed, of course, but together they built a silhouette around Ebru's confession, a suggestion that what she felt that day wasn't isolated, that the past and present might be talking to each other again. For those who have always believed in their connection, it felt like proof. For skeptics, it was just good storytelling. Either way, the impact was undeniable. Then there was the broadcast moment itself, the thing no rumor can improve upon. When Ebru began to speak about Akın, her tone shifted. The studio, usually full of hum and movement, seemed to still. Even the host's breathing sounded careful, as if they too didn't want the moment to scare itself away. She chose her words with that rare type of honesty that makes television feel intimate, as if she were speaking to each person individually. She didn't lean on drama. She didn't plead. She just shared. And that quietness made it thunder. After the segment, viewers flocked online to ask the question that hung in the air: is this the start of something, or the closing of a chapter held with affection? Is it the reveal of a promise about to be fulfilled, or gratitude for a question that confirmed a love, even if life has its own plans? The mystery is part of why the story won't let go. It's not just big weddings and shiny announcements that capture us. It's the delicate edge where real feelings meet real life, and the outcome isn't scripted. Every hour brought more stories, more posts, more carefully worded statements from insiders and friends who know better than to say too much. Yet somehow, each carefully measured sentence only swelled the curiosity. Ebru's confession reminded everyone that behind the campaigns and premiere nights and photoshoots, there are moments that demand stillness. A question asked. An answer not yet spoken aloud. A choice lingering between two people who have learned how to live with an audience but still want a corner that belongs to them alone. This is why the public can't look away. Because if these two, disciplined, focused, impossibly busy, can keep an ember alive under all that pressure, then perhaps love is not only spectacle but shelter. Perhaps the trembling voice and the softened eyes tell us as much as any extravagant reveal. And maybe that's enough, at least for now, to keep hope humming under the noise. Tonight, as the conversation continues to ripple through feeds and group chats, one thing is certain: this will not fade quickly. Ebru Şahin has given a glimpse of a moment she could have kept hidden. By naming the emotion and leaving the details in shadow, she gave the memory weight without turning it into a parade. And by tying it, however briefly, to Akınözü, she made the entertainment world stop, hold its breath, and listen for what might come next. In the control room during that broadcast, people remember a hush that settled over the crew. A hand paused above a switch. The host lifted a brow and didn't interrupt. And when the cameras cut, there was a second of silence that felt longer than it was, the kind that makes you ask in your own mind, is there something more waiting to be said? That question has followed the clip ever since. We'll be watching right alongside you. If this confession is the first stone dropped into a still lake, the ripples will show up in the days ahead, in choices, in sightings, in words said carefully or not at all. And whatever happens, the story has already found a place in the hearts of those who believe that even under bright lights, a single honest moment can change everything. That's where we'll leave it for now. If you made it this far, you're our kind of viewer. Subscribe to Turkish series stars and share this video with your fellow romantics and skeptics alike. We'll be here when the next chapter lands, ready to bring you every heartbeat, every whisper, and every twist along the way.